Welcome to UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and do this for my people. Oh God, neon nigga feeling me, yeah. It's hot as fuck. But today I'm gonna be talking about karma and just talking about it in a more simplified type of way, so motherfuckers don't be getting spooked out, and also explaining why a lot of motherfuckers be saying they're all like, oh, how could they didn't get that karma? Even though karma it go beyond just how y'all look at it in the external world or something physically happening to somebody, for the most part. But when it comes to karma, it's just the accumulation of one's life. That's it. That's all. So it's just reaping what you sow. Reaping what you sow, and it's just the accumulation of one's life. It's just people get flunked out when it comes to, like, because it starts to get into that lane once it start to talk about reincarnation. Reincarnation is just carnation, incarnation, and then reincarnation. So carnation as in you creating your state of being, your state of awareness. So that's like your spirit, the space that you in, and your individual space is just your soul. So it's just your individual observations, and then your individual outlooks and stuff like that. And then it gets condensed into a carnation. So you end up, you know what I'm saying, putting yourself in the driver's seat, putting yourself inside the car. So from you putting yourself inside the car, right, you gonna be inside that car and drive all across the nation and stuff like that. A nation is consistent of a state or like a country, and based upon that state, that city, and village or like town and stuff like that, it consists of men and women. Those men and women are like thoughts and feelings, Adams and Eves, attention, attractiveness, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something of the mind first before it becomes something of the flesh, and then it starts to turn into, which I'll talk about when it comes to sex and gender, and you know what I'm saying, men and women and stuff like that, male, female, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So just in general, yeah, it turns into carnation. So things of the mind, and your mind is your light body. So it's basically like the metaphysics before it becomes the physical, before it actually becomes materialized. So it's manifesting, dematerialization, not just you talk about manifesting. No, you're just trying to fester men and women, thoughts and feelings, but it's not something that actually came into the flesh or got condensed and grounded and actually become physical or substantiated. So from it becoming substantiated, that's the thing that becomes materialized. And that's the thing people getting flunked out when it comes to karma, and then y'all be getting lost into what's being materialized, even though the thing that comes before that is you had to come up with the idea in the first place, and then before that you had to be in that state of being, and from you being in that state of being is a lot of different ways of the observations of how you can look at it, but it's not actually being acted upon. So it's like something becoming unconscious, subconscious, and then becoming conscious, something you can actually see, and we can socialize and make it some commute, make something that we can all talk about. So from it being a thing we can all talk about, that's the thing that's actually being materialized. But karma overall is just you reaping what you sow. So from you reaping what you sown throughout all these different lifetimes, because it basically started going into conversations of reincarnation. So it's just talking about all the way down to the afterlife and stuff like that, because y'all be getting spooked out about that too, because y'all be all like, oh, you can't come back to that, you can't go to the afterlife, or you can't die or go to hell or go to heaven and come back and tell us what happened and stuff like that. But that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? It's about letting go of the external world, letting go of the physical, letting go of the mind, because those are things that are being manifested and materialized. Those are shapes and forms. Your spirit is no shape and form. It's incorporeal, and you're making it corporeal. You're making it what it is. So you're turning nothing into something. We see shit like this every day of a motherfucker who they came from nothing, and then they turned that nothing into something, and then from, you know what I'm saying, from them having that self-belief, or people having that faith in them, but people can't have faith in you without you having faith in yourself and your own talents and abilities and what you're capable of, and you creating that mind matter sentience to make people want to be a part of what you got going on. You have to be the walking cross, the walking star, the walking example for it to be something. And then from it being something, that's the thing that people want to be, because you turn it to a sum of things, and your spirit is no shape and form, so it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you have to act like it's nothing, all the way down to going through different experiences and stuff like that. You have to act like it's nothing. You have to act like it's effortless. You have to act like, oh, it's easy for you to do, even if it took you a minute to do it. But like, you have to be in that state of being, otherwise it's not gonna happen the way you want it to and stuff like that. So when motherfuckers be saying they're all like, you kind of have to be like illusionary or imaginative or delusional in a sense. That's really like the low vibrational version of what that is. When you have to be delusional for your dreams to actually come true, that's what that means. You just can't get too lost into the illusion. You can tell right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? You can have some type of moral principle behind it and stuff like that. You still have to be realistic. You still in real life and stuff like that. But you have to try to make things of the present and make it a part of, well, you have to take things of the past and the future and make it a part of your present, not you getting stuck into the past, and not you basically being stuck into the future. Because motherfuckers can get stuck into the past of what they already done. And if they don't know how to let that go, it's not going to happen now because you keep on holding on to things that you already did already. So it's like emotional baggage. So you have to be able to tread lightly as a spirit and stuff like that. So for you treading lightly, right, it's like making something lighter in weight. So the same way how you see a bird flying all throughout the sky, and it's easy for them to go from like location, migration, all that type stuff, right? I always answer how y'all look at females and y'all be saying they birds and stuff like that. Okay, if they birds, they flying. They gonna fly towards the next nigga and hop on their dick and stuff like that. But it's masculine energy. You have to be able to be free flowing. That's the main point. You know what I'm saying? Just like the spirit, you have free will and you free flowing is no shape and form. So if you free spirited or carefree, you're able to take one state of being and then put yourself in another state of being while also having your own state of being. It's like having a space within a space. So that's spirituality, the actuality of what all of our spirits doing together. And that's just all the creation, all potentiality. And that's God or the universe. And it's like an adjective, not a noun, not like a thing acting on its own. No, we making it what it is. And you wouldn't be alive right now having your own mind, having your own sentience, and having your own outlooks and worldviews if you wasn't already doing that. But that's here nor there. But all this goes into the karma conversation, right? So when it comes to karma and it being an accumulation of your life, you can't give it life or give it sentience, or it can't be a thing in existence. You can't have that awareness without you paying attention to it. So based upon you gaining attention span expansion and then it being condensed into attractiveness, because attractiveness is just drawing attention. So you're starting to pull it in. It's like a magnetism in a process, right? So for you drawing those attention spans in, you're able to, you know what I'm saying? You're able to soak into something. You're able to absorb that attention. That's like, it's like a masculine and feminine and stuff like that. That's why it's always like the niggas or the men is always seen as the leaders or the representation of how to do something. The externalization, the masculine, them creating, them building, and then the women always in that household, motherly, nurturing, caring type of position. So being attractive, it just means nurturing and caring about that feeling or an emotion long enough. But you can't get to that emotion and feeling without going through that thought process, the attention span first. You have to be aware, you have to pay attention to the thing and understand what it is and concentrate and focus on it long enough to where it becomes something that you care about. It becomes something that you want to nurture. It becomes something you want to be motherly over and stuff like that. It becomes something you want to maintain. It becomes a womb. The same way how a female has a womb and a pussy and a coochie and she take things in. You know what I'm saying? She's receiving. So we all androgynous as spirits. We all have a masculine and feminine. So that's you drawing attention. Drawing attention is just attractiveness. The same way when it comes to females and stuff like that, she always gonna try to find a way to get your attention because she wanna find the other half that she lack, which is masculine energy. And then niggas always trying to find the feminine energy because they lack emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like women be lacking logical intelligence, which is why they be relying on stuff like female intuition and stuff like that. I'm not even trying to say that's bad, but I'm just using terminologies they be making up. But in general, yeah, and then men, they be lacking that emotional intelligence and stuff like that. And then over time they learn, oh, you have to learn how to care about something. You can't just be a crash out, not care about nothing. And be trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the pro is they know how to not care about shit. They basically know how to be a crash out. They know how to be free flowing. Like they learn how to be more lighter. You know what I'm saying? They learn how to not make things be as heavy-handed or heavy-hearted and stuff like that. That emotional weight. You stop being in your feelings. You know how to get out of them. You know what I'm saying? It's about, you know what I'm saying, the balance of the masculine and feminine, out and in. So they know how to get out of the situation. They know how to move out of the circumstance and stuff like that. They know how to create the situation, not be a creation of the situation itself. You know what I'm saying? They know how to get out of somebody's nutsack. They know how to create a nutsack itself. You know what I'm saying? Like to make it mad simple. You know what I'm saying? They know how to create the circumstance, observe it, and see it for what it is, instead of like, that's why we be saying shit like, oh, it is what it is and stuff like that, compared to a motherfucker who just in it and then they just lost within the it is itself and stuff like that. Like there's a difference and stuff like that, because a motherfucker can see what something is and be like, oh, okay, it's really that. And then a motherfucker be like, it is what it is, but they stay stuck in that circumstance because of what they seeing, instead of thinking more spiritual, like I'm saying right now and stuff like that. See, that's like a motherfucker who lost into the flesh, into the external world and stuff like that way too much. But y'all get my main sentiment. So based upon the accumulation of what you're doing in one's life and stuff like that, when it comes to karma, you're able to give life to things based upon what you're paying attention to. And what you're paying attention to, eventually you're going to start drawing attraction, and you start to attract these energies based upon the mood and the sentiment that you're in, for the most part, after paying attention to it long enough. So based upon what you're paying attention to on a high percentage scale, you're going to attract this type of energy. So look at that as, if you pay attention to a lot of positive type of things, progressive type of things, expensive type of things, that's what's going to happen to you. And you start moving up in life. And then if you pay attention to a lot of degenerate things that are monetary gains, things that are temporary, right? You're going to end up attracting a lot of negative circumstances where things don't go in your favor on a higher percentage scale, because life in general is all about that spiritual jump rope and stuff like that. It's not all about things always going in your way, but you can make things go in your way in a higher percentage scale. It's not always going to go your way 100% of the time, but this is how you can do that spiritual jump rope. God like it when you had to go through things smoothly, and you also understand the discernment. You can tell the difference between things, right? And you know how to move in and out the situation, being more free spirited and stuff like that. So you don't end up taking esoteric responsibility for things, end up getting esoteric blood in your hands and stuff like that, and then you never wash your hands. Look at that as guilty by association. Look at that as you end up taking the bat for certain things that you was a part of, that you probably wasn't even a part of on a high percentage scale, but you still look like you guilty, or you still look like you are part of that gang or that clique or that circumstance and stuff like that, even if you're not physically in the same circumstance. Motherfuckers be thinking just because it's a out of sight, out of mind type of mentality, right? Motherfuckers be thinking because it's like a out of sight, out of mind, like physically out of sight, out of mind, that don't mean some shit done happen, right? Just because you physically at that circumstance, it don't mean spiritually you not in that same circumstance. That's like motherfuckers who like depressed and suicidal and stuff like that. Okay, physically you probably not going through that trauma, because all that is based upon trauma. Physically, you might not be in that circumstance. Physically, you may not be going through that trauma and stuff like that. But spiritually and mentally, you're still in that state of being. You're still in that state of awareness. You're still paying attention to it. You know what I'm saying? You still letting it affect you in certain ways on a high percentage scale, to where when you start to receive it or you start to think about it, it starts to hurt, or you feel like you're harmed, or you feel attacked and stuff like that. So, or you start being really emotional and heavy-handed when it comes to those type of things. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you're taking emotional responsibility for certain shit that you probably should even take emotional responsibility, and you end up exaggerating. You end up exaggerating, making more what it is. So you end up being stuck into that circumstance, even if physically you're not there no more and stuff like that. And that's when it leads to motherfuckers feeling like they need a psychologist, or they need like some type of therapist so they can vent, so they can get it out, so they could, you know what I'm saying, feel more light on their shoulders, like have someone to talk to about that shit and stuff like that. That's why a lot of this shit be important, bro. It be like mentally, like spiritually and mentally. But the minute a motherfucker like me start talking about the spirit and all that type shit, y'all get flunked out. And then y'all be trying to make the mind the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be trying to make the flesh the spirit when it got nothing to do with that. So it's kind of like physical circumstance wise, you probably out of sight, out of mind, but it's not truly out of sight, out of mind, until you put yourself into another awareness, until you just stop paying attention to it completely. You know what I'm saying? Or at least on a higher percentage scale. And then it leads to situations of, even if you start thinking about it or look at things that remind you of that circumstance, you react differently. It don't hit you as hard compared to how you looked at it when you was first going through that situation based upon that trauma and all that type of stuff. You get what I'm saying? So all this adds into you reaping what you sow. All this adds into when it comes to karma and stuff like that, from previous lifetimes that you had to shed dead skin and stuff like that and learn certain things, all the way down to what you're doing now. And that's what the afterlife is. What's going to be your life after this? What's your legacy? What do you got to stand? What do you have to stand on? What are you going to have substantiated to where even after you dead, people can know what your spirit was, the state of being you was in? You know what I'm saying? Your individuality, your authenticity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you being a walking emanation of what that is, of what your mind is, your atmosphere, be a part of your world, because you're the only motherfucker with your mind. You're the only motherfucker who think like you. You're the only motherfucker who can be that and stuff like that. It don't matter how hard you man, you can try to make that shit all robot all you want. You can try to make that shit all robot all you want. You ain't never gonna be, man. You can try to cosplay that shit all you want, all the way down to artificial intelligence and AI. You can't copy your spirit like it's a file from the Matrix or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no such thing as that. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way down to animals and stuff like that. Like it's all about the sentience and you being a part of existence. Otherwise, your ass wouldn't be alive right now, and you wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Like all of it matter. All that shit matter. It's like a what they call that shit. It's like a animism. Like it's a collective thing in general. It's an awareness. So even if you don't see it physically, it's still an awareness. It's still a thing you can be aware about though. You know what I'm saying? But we know what we doing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the intelligence you have right now and be a fucking and be a human. And from you being a human, it's evolving past you being a fucking animal. You should be glad you ain't a fucking alligator right now. You should be glad you ain't a crocodile right now. You should be glad you ain't a goddamn dog and stuff like that. The same way how y'all have dogs as pets and stuff like that. You should be glad that you ain't. So the same way how a dog or an animal, when it comes to it being wild, that's like a barbaric ass human, like a degenerate ass human and stuff like that. Like you in your lower natures, your beastly natures and stuff like that. And you can't use your higher natures. You can't use your brain. You can't use your intellect. You can't find another angle to do it better instead of you acting like a degenerate or you acting immoral or you doing like, you know what I'm saying? Like you doing something by force. You can't do something natural. And then the spirit is all about doing things naturally. You know what I'm saying? If someone is genuine as fuck, and you're able to do things naturally and stuff like that, people are going to naturally gravitate to what the fuck you got going on, just in general. So once you start to accumulate that, my fucking shit cut out. It's hot as fuck. Oh God, y'all saw me sweating this shit. I was getting in the spirit for real. I was showing the heat. You know what I'm saying? I started burning. I started heating up. All that type stuff. But point being is, right, it's just an accumulation of someone's life and it's just reaping what you sow. So based upon the ethical practices, look at that as something that's good and bad. Something could be true to you or good for you, but bad for someone else to do and stuff like that. But you want to take spiritual responsibility because it's something that naturally resonates with you compared to somebody else and stuff like that. So it's you having that discernment of, oh, this thing pleases me compared to somebody else. If someone else try to do that, they'll probably get frustrated, or they look at it like a negative, or they look at it like, I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? So you end up finding things naturally that you like, that you're pleased by, and that's when it leads to something that's more good nature or something that's way more genuine. Because y'all be getting lost into the dichotomies of what is looked at as good and bad, when in general it's about, is it good for you or not? On a higher percentage scale, is it something that's not harmful for you to do? Is it something that you want to take that spiritual responsibility for and stuff like that because you just like to do it in general? Now, a motherfucker could take that and look at that as degenerate, or they could look at that as harmful, especially you start self-projecting that onto others. It's really be that. When y'all start to self-project that onto others, like other people need to give a fuck about it. No, you need to go with your people who like to do that and stuff like that. Even if it's a motherfucker who degenerative and stuff like that. Okay, go get with your people who like to do degenerate shit, and not everyone like to do that. And then the shit we like to do, based upon society and trying to expand it and civilization and stuff like that, culture and all that same stuff, the stuff that we do, y'all probably don't like to do it and stuff like that. And it's not going to lead to energies of counterculture and stuff like that. It's just going to lead to everyone going to kind of be in everyone kind of going to like just mind their business. Everyone kind of going to be in their own pocket instead of self-projecting and trying to put each other's trash on other people's lawn type of energy and stuff like that, because everyone minding their business. So even if it's some shit like you don't get down like that, or you don't fuck with certain things and stuff like that, you all like, well, they like to do that and I'm just let them do that. You know what I'm saying? Just don't bring that shit over here and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna lead to that self-projection type of energy, or throwing stones, throwing rocks at a motherfucker and stuff like that, or being in other people's business and being overly messy and trying to be overly involved, like some Spy Kid type of energy and stuff like that, like Spy Kid 1, 2, and 3D. Oh God, like, so yeah, it's just an accumulation of one's life, whether you did something that was more productive or counterproductive or self-sabotaging, or you kept being stuck into one circumstance and you never expanded out of it. And you have to expand your mind first. And from you expanding your mind, you expanding your spirit, the state of awareness, the existence that you in and stuff like that, which you created for yourself. That's a better way to put it. What you created for yourself, what type of culture that you got, your own creativity, you distributing your own imagination and stuff like that, and letting that be seen, and not that letting go unseen. It's like you accomplishing all the goals that you set on your mind, and you ain't gonna get blocked from it either. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get more grace on a higher percentage scale compared to somebody else, because you're in that energy of, I'm just trying to be creative and I'm just trying to be productive, right? I'm trying to show the natural, purest essence of what I'm into from what I like. And motherfuckers who try to block that, or try to dump they trash on other people's lawn, or make a narrative, make a side, try to control it and stuff like that, they're going to be going to hell. They're going to be falling from grace faster than you, just from them being in that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, So it's either going to lead to, if you're trying to do that, it's either you're trying to show I'm more talented than this person, I can do something better compared to somebody else because I want to be in that position. So I'm trying to show, okay, I'm trying to naturally show I can do this better. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to show my capabilities. I'm going to show you my abilities. I'm going to show you my talents and gifts and stuff like that I'm good at. I feel like I can do that better compared to somebody else, and that's going to get compared. Or it's going to lead to counterculture type of energies, degenerate type of energies, crab in a barrel type of energies and stuff like that. And the minute someone go up, you feel the need to bring them down based upon what you lack. You could just figure out what you got going on and make your own circumstance, and then eventually you stop caring about what the fuck they doing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's going to be in that more each one teach one type of energy and stuff like that. Oh, I can show you what I learned, and you can show me what you learned and stuff like that. It don't even got to be like that. And then even if it get like that where it's that opposition friction, it's going to be evened out in balance because I can go my way and you can go your way and stuff like that. You don't even got to be like that. And even if it did get to that point and stuff like that, right, we can understand our differences, or we just don't get along. We don't like being in the same territory. We don't like being in the same atmosphere. We don't like being in the same world. We don't like being in the same space. So you can be in your space, and I can be in my space, and we not gonna get anywhere with each other and stuff like that. And it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit gonna be equalized and stuff. And it's gonna bring God back on earth. All possibilities. All possibilities. You know what I'm saying? All types of creativity and stuff like that. Not controlled, not a narrative, not a psyop, not it has to be in this particular way because of this, that, and the third. Right? It's just going, you know what I'm saying? It's going to bring back that fruitful, everlasting type of energy overall. So all the way down to when y'all be seeing karma happening in the external world, and y'all be like, oh, how come this motherfucker ain't getting their karma? Based upon what they reaping, what they sown and stuff like that. How come something negative ain't happening to them because of this, that, and the third? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just because a motherfucker did it in a way that was, I'll say, like treacherous, wicked. You know what I'm saying? Like snake-like. That's really what I'm trying to say. Just because a motherfucker did it in a real toxic type of way, God don't really give a fuck about that. And y'all really gotta understand that. God don't be giving a fuck about that. God don't have a bias in that world. Like in the spiritual world, or how God will look at it, there's no bias. So it don't matter about your self-projection of what you look at as right or wrong, what you look at as good and bad and stuff like that. It's not about that. It's just about, are you in that energy more than somebody else? That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about what you're creating for yourself, and are you in that energy more compared to somebody else? It's not about if a motherfucker is morally correct about it or not. It's just about the genuine energy that you in, just in general. So it's like, if you a snake, you gonna attract other motherfuckers who trying to snake you out. If you naive and ignorant, you're gonna attract other motherfuckers who naive and ignorant, and motherfuckers who gonna try to take advantage of your your naivete or your innocence and stuff like that, because you don't know no better. But you're gonna get more grace because you ain't know no better. But now you know. And so it just, you know what I'm saying? Until it happened to show you there's other people in the world who gonna take advantage of what you don't know and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's really it. So it's not no thing where it's like God give a fuck about that. So it's kind of like how y'all look at kind of like slavery and stuff like that. Oh, if karma real, how come white men walking around? Because of this, that, and the third, because of what their ancestors did. God always watching. I don't know why, like, motherfuckers be thinking something ain't happened, something did happen. It's usually because it's like what I was saying before, birth, life, death, spirit, mind, body, right? Based upon the mind being the light body, the lighter shape and form before it becomes the flesh, before it becomes things of the external world, because it's going to motivate our organs from us being an organism, and then we're going to make an organization and all that type stuff to where it can be made into a society, civilization, and social norms. Just because something didn't happen to them in the external world don't mean something ain't happened to them. It means, like, if they start self-projecting like that and that type of energy on a high percentage scale based upon someone's karma, like of them doing a whole bunch of negative bullshit, right? God is going to take our power away. Look at that as like God gonna take away the ability for you to do that because you took it too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, you self-projected too much. You know what I'm saying? You was overtaken. You know what I'm saying? You was trying to overtake someone else's free will or whatever. You trying to control motherfuckers too much. You trying to put yourself in a bind. You trying to put a motherfucker in a jail and stuff like that. See, this is why I don't be giving a fuck about legalities when it comes to American laws and stuff like that a lot of time. I'm not saying we don't need a system or organization and stuff like that, but it's based upon the pretenses of how America was made. That's why I don't give a fuck about it. it's really, y'all need to make a whole different space for someone to act out those characteristics. Because again, we have a free will, and from us having a free will, we can freely act however the fuck we want. But if you start self-projecting that free will and you try to control someone else's free will, that's going to self-reflect on you. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, God made you sentient and made it so you could be a part of existence and stuff like that. Once you try to control someone's existence on a high percentage scale, unless you're in the circumstance of trying to defend yourself, or you ain't know no better and stuff like that, God take that power away from you. So look at that as mental disorders. Look at that as mental illness. Look at that as you out of your fucking mind. So the spirit create the mind create the body in the physical motivations that we want to carry out, utilizing the physical and the flesh and the body, creates the external world, right? God takes away your ability to have your mind together, for you to make up your mind. Mentally, you all over the goddamn place and stuff like that. You don't know if you coming or going. You know what I'm saying? Like mentally, you act like a fucking crackhead. You know what I'm saying? Like, mentally, you act demented. Mentally, you act deranged. Mentally, you out of your fucking mind. Mentally, you're basically like deteriorating. You're dying. You're disorganized. You don't know how to put things in order and stuff. You be wishy-washy. You be all over the place. You be insecure. You be unsure. You be uneasy. Like, y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm saying like a lot of synonyms, but y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. And then if it get really bad, now your organs fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's gonna be a circumstantial situation where probably one of your organs is fucked up, right? Physically, you're physically incapable, like you're crippled or something like that. Y'all start paying attention to that. Something like when it comes to a motherfucking organ, or someone physically going through something, someone going through like a car crash, someone going through like a tower moment, someone going through a catastrophic moment and stuff like that, right? Even though it can lead to that, but y'all don't be paying attention to that part. Something did happen to him already. You know what I'm saying? So anything you self-project, that's what you self-reflecting about. If you self-projecting a lot of hate, that's what you self-reflecting about. So you hate yourself. So from you hating yourself and you not utilizing your free will to create a better way to hate in the right areas, look at hating in the right areas as you know how to hate the fact you have insecurities, but you're going to find another way so you don't have that insecurity no more. You get a better security system. You find a better way to cope with that circumstance to where it don't bother you as much as it used to and stuff like that, like I was saying in the beginning of the video. So if you don't utilize your free will, your state of being, your state of awareness to try to create more so you can have more, what the fuck? Oh, the shit fucked up. But like, so you don't have more to add on to your state of being, what you're trying to become. You trying to utilize your imagination. You try to utilize your creativity, and you get that all fucked up. You get that wrong, or you acting too stagnant or counterproductive, or every time you put yourself in a circumstance, you end up what's the word? Self-sabotage. It's not self-sabotage, but fucking basically you don't try to take care of your own seeds and fruit and stuff like that. You don't try to make it everlasting and eternal. You make it something that's a monetary gain. So that's like low-hanging fruit. So from it being a monetary gain, and it's gonna die out really quickly and stuff like that, all it's gonna lead to is instant gratification type of energies and a short attention span. You don't know how to focus on something long enough and hold on to it to where it ends up becoming something. Even if it don't come exactly how you think it's gonna come in your mind, it's not about that, because it's gonna lead to that expectation type of energy, that validation issue type of energy, that anticipation type of energy. It's not to say you can't anticipate shit, but once you get too lost into that and it don't go in your favor, now you start being hard on yourself because it didn't go in your favor that one time when the universe worked through you, not for you or against you. So sometimes it go for you and then sometimes it go against you, because you're not the only motherfucker out here with free will. You ain't the only motherfucker on here on earth who's making the world what the world is and stuff like that. Everyone has their own world and be in their own worldview. Everyone has their own culture. Everyone has their own fucking mind. So God don't got time to go fuck about your mind all the time. Stop being a fucking ego narc and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's really it on God. Like that's really it. So all the connotations when it comes to Hinduism and Buddhism, like I'll be saying before, when it comes to religion, a lot of religion is just real legions that they be relying on based upon them remixing. So from them remixing them or revitalizing them or recreating or repurposing them, aka commodifying, manipulation and stuff like that, they're just using they're basically utilizing those things, right? They're utilizing those things as commodifications. They're utilizing those things as tools based upon what people are believing in. And we're taking things that are unseen, we're making it seen. We're taking things that are make-believe and we're making motherfuckers believe in it, for the most part, right? So the same way how you can make a motherfucker believe in you based upon that faith, they're gonna try to manipulate it based upon that legion of people who's in that spirituality, who's in that culture, who's in that mind state, who is utilizing those practices and stuff like that. From them looking at it from an outside point of view and them not being a part of that culture or them not being a part of those people and them being a part of that creed or legion based upon their doctrines and based upon their outlooks of the world and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like them having their own worldview, their own perspective, how they look at it. So that's their dream. But they was all in the same dream. They was all moving as a unit and stuff like that. Teamwork, the dream work and stuff like that. So based upon Hinduism and Buddhism and them being both religions, they're just revitalizing that legion of people, because it was a real legion of people who probably did think like that, and they turned it into idol worship. So based upon that idol worship, or them looking at them like they're idol worshiping and stuff like that, no, they're utilizing what they think they're doing as idol worship, and they're trying to make y'all idol worship their intellectual property of how they look at how those people look at it. So it's them basically like the shadow government and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like self-projecting all the way down to when you look up that shit online and then you look at it one way based upon the symbolization and the representation of how they want it to be seen. It's crafted of how they want y'all to look at it. So all the way down to religion, you think, oh, you're spiritual because you're religious, but you're not that spiritual. You're just a part of a real legion of people that's basically being remixed, and you got institutionalized, you got indoctrinated, you just got programmed. That's it. You know what I'm saying? The same way how you'll go get a name brand from looking at a commercial compared to a motherfucker getting some actual fruit from the farmer's market or actually growing it in their backyard. The more natural essence of what it is to eat that ripe fruit and stuff like that, instead of the additives that's added to it. So it's something that's more GMO when you go to Walmart compared to if I go get that shit from my backyard and I actually grew that shit. I grew the strawberries off a strawberry bush or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's really all it is. It's just an accumulation of one's life and existence and how that's going to dictate your next life. So your next life, you're probably going to be more frustrated, or you're going to be more in a harder circumstance based upon what you're doing in this lifetime and what you did in your previous lifetime. You take an esoteric responsibility for that, and you try to clear up all the things that you don't like and you don't resonate with no more, so you can be free as a spirit now, so you can do what you want to do now, so you can set yourself up based upon the next lifetime when you end up reincarnating and you end up coming back into the flesh and stuff like that, right? To where you end up in a better circumstance. Look at that as you're more intelligent. You're like an old soul. I'm gonna use that as like the terminology y'all be calling these things, right? Old soul. Someone who's more wise. Someone who learned from their experiences. Someone who is more gifted. Someone who's more talented. Someone who's more, you know what I'm saying? Creative and stuff like that. It's like a natural born, God-given talent or gift type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like motherfuckers where they work so hard at something, they end up becoming good at it. So they understand the skill set. That's like you getting a job, like a 9 to 5. So you end up getting that job or getting that 9 to 5, and you're just doing it as a monetary gain. You just need money. You need to be a part of society and stuff like that. But it's not your end all be all. That's not the thing that you actually like really talented or skillful at. It's just something as a monetary gain. So compared to a motherfucker where they're actually doing their passions, they're actually doing what they actually like to do for real, and they trying to live out those goals and dreams and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They believe in something, even if motherfuckers don't really give a fuck about it, but they know they're good at it. They know they're good at it to where I know I can rock a crowd. I know I can make people entice about this little thing that I'm doing on the side and all that type stuff, because I'm talented, I'm skillful at this thing naturally. Like for some reason, I'm just really good at piano. For some reason, I just understand this compared to everybody else in my family who don't even give a fuck about it like that. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just effortless to me. Like, it's easy for me to do for the most part. So it's the same comparison. You just come back with better abilities, better tricks, better capabilities, broader imagination, more creativity, more things to show, more things to make your light shine and stuff like that, instead of it being dimmed.